Today is October 24th. Yankees are eliminated. They get swept by the Astros in the LCS, so we're going to talk all about that. Let's talk Yanks. All right, we're here at Torch and Crown. If you're watching the video, I'm wearing a mink coat. It was freezing here. This is kind of a fun prop we have at the office. Sam went and got all the warmest stuff. It's the most comfortable thing, so I'm still wearing it, and probably the best part about tonight. Yankees get eliminated. My name is Jimmy. Jake's here. BBD in the corner. Playoffs, everything we've done in the playoffs brought to you by John Boy Playoffs, the code you can use on SeatGeek to get 10% off tickets. Probably over baseball now, so go treat yourself and your loved ones to a concert. The ballet.
Yeah.
And you get 10% off
The
code
Theta.
John Boy. The Theta. Season's over, Jake. Astros are celebrating on the field in the Bronx.
They sure are. Jim, BBD, everyone that's hanging out at Torch and Crown, which was awesome. I mean, we had a weird one. We knew what we signed up for, right? We were down 3-0 to Houston. We were hosting an event, and we honestly, we had another awesome group of Yankee fans that knew what they signed up for. We were going to have fun. We knew what was ahead of us either way, right? Like, we knew this Houston team was going to be there at the end of this season. Jim, we do Talkin baseball now. I always laugh. I'd say once a month, Zoe from We Got Ice comes up to me, and he's like, people come to you with their baseball takes. Like, you do Talkin baseball like the podcast. I'm like, yeah. Like, he just sees me around the office as Silly Jake. And I said all year, like, once the Yankees got hot, I was like, it's Yankees-Astros. Like,
Well, the ALCS goes through Houston until it doesn't.
It's been lining up for that. We got nervous for a little bit, and we should have because we were Yankee fans, right? And the Yankees looked horrible in the month of August, but then they kind of started to go again, and it was like, all right, so we're going to do this. Yankees-Houston, Part 3. And they're so much better. There's a part of me that loves sports and loves being close, and, you can look back at a couple of these games, and you point to one or two or three moments that changed the game. But guess what? Those moments are what the Astros are really good at, and it's what the Yankees organization puts themselves in a position to fail at. And it results in a sweep.
I mean, I think that it is so telling when you see how the Yankees use their bullpen today and in Game 5 against the Guardians. And it's so telling. It's like, oh, so you guys do know there's like a best plan?
Yeah.
Like, they had the Loaisiga warming up in the fourth. Wandy came out in the third. Oh, so you are fully aware that going to those two guys first is the best plan, but you'll only do it in elimination games. Because in Game 3, you went to Trevino first ahead of Loaisiga. But you must know that's not the best plan if that's not what you're doing in the elimination game in Game 5. So it's so frustrating because they just always play for tomorrow, and that leads to no sense of urgency ever. So much so that they used Game 1 of the ALCS as a let's see what Montas and Clark have for us game in a close one.
Right.
And there's just, but that has been my complaint for 2 years now.
Right.
And in the post-Girardi era with Boone and the crew of people making all these decisions, Cashman, the analytics department, the head of scouting, the head of the analytics, all the way down to the whole teams, all of that, like, there's no urgency. Ever. Game 1 of the ALCS.
Yeah.
Game 1 of the ALCS.
Yeah.
No urgency. But they know the best plan.
Right.
They know that bringing Wandy and Loaisiga out as the first guys, as the firemen, as they get through the heart of the order, no matter where we are in the game plan, is the best plan because they'll do it when they have urgency, which is when they are a loss away from elimination.
Yeah.
So that's like as telling as it gets to the problem.
And they hey, I bet whatever we're saying right now on Talking Yanks, and Jimmy's been trying to drive this home to anyone he's talking to, I bet Michael K's leaning in harder than anyone and that Yes crew. Because guess what? They're fed up, man. Like, we've talked to a lot of those people.
Want to know why
Because they should, because it's logical.
Well, because
if you talk to anyone that was in our crowd tonight, or you talk whenever we're at the stadium and we talk to someone, even if it's a dap up and you have like one getaway sentence, everyone's on the same wavelength. Like everyone gets it.
But their PR spin, the way they talk about themselves, the way they run it, is like they're still in that 98 through 2004 window. And they don't know that they are closer to the Mets than they are the 98 through 2004 Yankees as far as like how they are perceived by the media, how their words and their decisions are thought of. Like they're becoming closer and closer to an embarrassment and a joke.
I mean,
3 different shortstops, 3 different leadoff hitters, 3 different 5-hole hitters, 3 different 6-hole hitters, 3 different 7-hole hitters. They're becoming a joke around the league. They still think they're feared. They're not feared.
Yeah.
You got the Guardians, who are the worst team in the playoffs. They beat the Rays. 2 weird-ass games. And the Guardians took you game 5s. And I'm not saying that as disrespect to the Guardians.
No.
But I wanted to face them more than Seattle or Toronto.
Right.
I think those are better teams overall.
Yes and no. I think Cleveland.
They were feisty. I'm not trying to rip. I'm not trying to rip Cleveland here.
took down Toronto.
But in the end, what did you do?
Cleveland took down Toronto.
You went
and
5. You went 5 games against Guardians and you lost right away in the LCS. What did you do?
Right.
They're going to hang their head on this and say it was a successful season. We got to the LCS, and man, their message is so lost on the crowd.
Jeremy Pena just got given the ALCS MVP, and that is so fucking beautiful. Because guess what? These Astros, they let Carlos Correa walk, and they said, we got a kid. We're going to run him out there. Guess what? Nobody's known anything about a prospect ever. When a prospect gets called up to the major leagues, we find out. Will Myers, who did some fun stuff for San Diego in their playoff run, he's had a nice career. He was a top 3 prospect. He was like, oh, special. He's going to be the dude. He had a nice career. He's never been a team's dude. Bryce Harper gets called up. Some of these guys flame out and it doesn't work. They called up Jeremy Pena, who was a top 40 prospect. They let him run out all year at shortstop. He played good defense. He had like a 715 OPS, which this year was solid. The Yankees.
Well, they've never had.
They had 2 shortstops that they played in this ALCS.
Yeah, but they don't have a history
under
of
25.
Yeah, I mean, Judge didn't do it. Glaber didn't do it in his first year. Andujar didn't do it in his first year. Gary didn't do it in his first year. It's like they don't have a history of allowing kids to play in their rookie season and help a team and win. So why would they start now?
Well, the Braves, who did and won the World Series last year, do, and the Astros, who have a really good chance to do it this year.
Yeah, they just drew a weird. They did a weird line because they've done it before. Part of this core is because they did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing is their message, and you can see Yes Network ripping them, all media ripping them, every other team laughing at them. Is they are behind. They are less than.
I think every Yankees fan had a massive moment. Was it last year Boone said the league caught up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah.
The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009, and they said
they hadn't won the division.
They
like
said
this year they did, but when he said that,
they said the league caught up. And man, oh man, I think for every Yankee fan, your heart sunk, and you were like, they don't think that, right?
What about when
But
they had a
do.
15-game lead, and it was like, okay, 15-game lead. Well, one of your biggest problems right now is shortstop. He's not comfortable enough to play in the postseason. Let's use that 15-game lead and start the rookies and see what you got. And there's a guy wearing a mink coat right now that said that forever. And I had to stop saying it because people were acting like I was a conspiracy theorist loon. And I feel somewhat vindicated now that it happened and they didn't plan for it. And shout out to IKF. He played a decent game until that error.
And
with
dude, I
Glaber,
was
whatever
just,
that was.
I was just going there, man, because I think there's still people that sometimes get caught up in the whirlwind and they don't fully understand it. Like what IKF did this series was solid, and it was who he was. Like he swung, he put his bat on the ball, and we talked to a lot of people inside, outside the Yankees organization. He's supposed to be a utility guy. Like his strength is his versatility. And where he can be. And, you know, he can put a bat on the ball and he can have a 2-for-4 day. You know, that's what makes him a really good baseball player. But the Yankees decided to make him their lockdown shortstop. And I can understand how that can get misconstrued and everything. But when the Yankees had their season on the line in the DS, they went away from them. And we heard that in the walls of that building, there are the same fights that you have with your buddies or you've seen online or you've heard us have over it. And the fact that the Yankees internally are doing that means it's a problem. And we did our weird salad analogy the other night, and that's how the ingredients to this whole thing are a little messed up. That, instead of up and down the lineup, finding the balance, and you've got this, like the Guardians have an identity, and they know who they were, and they were young and fiery. They were just a couple, either a couple years of experience or a couple players short. Houston, I mean, my God. Talk about catching up. That's who you need to catch up to. They have been to the CS the last 6 years. Alex Bregman doesn't know a baseball season without the American League Championship Series being a part of it. They've gone to the World Series now 4 out of 6. I think that's the number.
I think so.
So to think that you're on any level different than anyone else is just as obtuse as you can be. And Jim, you mentioned it. There's a graphic that was going viral before about, Houston's got a bunch of new age people in their front office running the team, and the Yankees have a bunch of people from 03, 04. I don't know. It feels like you'd at least need a mix. Don't get me wrong. I like there's something to cohesion and keeping people around, but goddamn, you knew. I knew. I'm not the smartest cat in the world. I knew that the Houston Astros were going to have to be beat in the American League this year to go to the World Series, and you got swept. You got swept, and Houston was never nervous for a second. So what's that mean?
I mean, but they didn't give a fuck. They're a good team, and they're made for the postseason, man. Every guy was putting the ball in play. Like they get contact with pop. They're the Guardians with pop. They don't strike out. They don't really swing and miss. But when they do hit it, they can get extra base hits.
Better pitching,
but offensively. Offensively. And the Yankees pitching was great. I mean, Nestor got hurt there and gives up that home run, but the Yankees pitching was good. Bullpen was good. Like Johnny Loizaga was really good. Wandy was good. Even Clay, as scared as I was, he was good. The way they used the bullpen was ridiculous, and incohesive, and multiple decisions made by multiple people.
And like you've said, I mean, the decisions getting made. I mean, that's what hurts. And we're friendly with some of the guys. We've had some of the guys' team turn on us this year because we are like a part of the media. So they hear something and they're like, wait, what? What'd those guys say? Guess what? Like, we want the Yankees to win. So, anything we said was to do the best for the New York Yankees. And I think the Yankees showed by the end of the postseason that some of the moves they made were to be the best for the team, and they should have made them earlier, tried them during the year. And there's a couple that they left unchallenged and uncontested, and they have an air to the Yankees that they don't understand is their weakness. Not having Matt Carpenter play in Texas was a disaster. A disaster. Believing in Donaldson all year and never giving a wrench of like, hey, dude, it might not work.
I mean, he didn't hit all year.
I think that's when we confused people, when we were like, hey, play IKF at third and bench Donaldson. I think people kind of took a step back and were like, oh.
Dude.
Oh, shit.
Dude.
I would have made that
How about
bet also. I think they're trying to get us to wrap up.
I won my bet on Judge led the league. We'll do more reflective stuff maybe. I try to move on fast.
DraftKings is the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Any $5 money line bet, get $200 in free bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY. Make any $5 bet this week and get $200 in free bets if your team win only. DraftKings Sportsbook, promo code JOHNBOY. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions applies. See show notes for details. Download DraftKings.
As far as the regular season goes, it was awesome. The first half was so fun. They were winning every game. They were coming back like crazy. Then it was dreadful. It was the worst baseball we saw. And then it was history and the home run chase, and that was really fun too. But, some of the glaring mistakes everyone been talking about for a long time. And then you run out the lineups you did and the different positions you did. And, man, the excuses they made about the roof I've never been more embarrassed. It's a couple things this season I've never been more embarrassed to be a fan of and have to deal with as a fan is like the manager and the players making the excuse. Like, leave that to the fans and the reporters and the other people. That's as clear as it gets. And that's why I'm saying, like, the PR, like the messaging is just bad. Openly admitting you had David Ortiz give a speech about the 04 Red Sox to the Yankees is as lost gets. Can you imagine if they said, if Alex Cora said, I just had Derek Jeter FaceTime the clubhouse to give him a motivational speech, the Red Sox. Can you imagine how much you would laugh in the face of that if you were if you're a Yankees fan and you hear that Cora had Jeter FaceTime into Fenway to give a motivational speech? That's real deal what Boone did.
Yeah.
And then he had told people about it. I know that these guys on the team didn't grow up Yankees fans and but what?
It's
like maybe two of the more like, this is who I'm like. I felt like how I make fun of how the Mets have been made fun of for the last decade.
Yeah.
That's what the Yankees became at points this postseason.
Well,
Horribly, and it's pathetic.
And that's
those two things.
You know,
Jesus.
Everyone
guys.
saw that Hoke. If you didn't, Hoke had a tweet going viral before, and we're like, what? It's kind of unreal. Like I think if we were running the team, I think we'd put the DVD in a second just to see the heads turn and be like, wait, they're not really fucking doing this, right? And then we'd be like, no, dude. If we're going to do this, we got to make our own story, not our rivals that did it against us. And, yeah, man, we are getting closer and closer to the situation. You know, people ask us tonight, oh, Yes Network, do you guys have to hold back on what you say? Not really. I mean, we love the players are and who they are as a people, but we're fans. And, like, we have to kind of give our fan perspective on it, so we do. And it's as we get closer, some of the things we find out, they're organizational problems that, baseball's got a little bit of luck of the draw to it. And some of the analytics guys lean into that super hard, and I think it buys them an extra year on their career. But the Houston Astros, guess what? Whatever they're doing works because they've been to the ALCS 6 straight years. World Series 4 out of 6. So
never lost a 5-game series.
And
they don't go around saying, "Oh, anything can happen in a 5-game set."
No,
nope. We'll just win it.
The team
we're built for the playoffs.
The team that wins never says, "Boy, did we get lucky this year." No, they say we won. We were the best team. We were dominant.
And we're gonna have a lot of off-season talk about this, but like, if Rizzo's gone, and if Judge is gone, the players left.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
This,
because you got DJ who can hit but no position. Stanton, DH. JD, IKF, Donaldson. I don't know. We got to wrap up this and put a bow on the season, but we will have a lot of episodes dissecting the off season and keep going. We usually take a little bit of a break. Maybe by the end of the World Series, we'll be back talking Yanks or as soon as there's news.
Yeah, there's usually
probably going to be a presser.
There's
this week.
There's usually a news episode, and then there's a and then at some point we start going to 2 a week, and it just starts lining up. So, as always, thank you guys. Actually, before I do the thank you, I want you to think about what Jim just said, because we've done it a couple times now, and man, the Yankees roster and everything around it, it gets funky quick. It gets funky quick. So I know baseball is a sport of change, and it changes a lot every year, more than you think. It might be big stuff, and obviously Judge is the storyline of the year. So that's going to get crazy. I'll do my thing. Thank you, everyone. This year has been nuts. When we go to Yankee Stadium, like, we're fucking celebrities. It's like kind of scary sometimes, but it's cool. Thank you, and everything with our company and everything. I was doing a year back. Unfortunately, the annual Yankee loss episode has become a thing, and Sam is usually there for them, and I picture that.
It's a thing for 29 teams.
Which sucks, and I know, and it's tough, and there's going to be a year it's not, and that's going to be awesome. But, you know, our company from Shoebox in the Bronx to, you know, this is our first year in the Manhattan office, and we've got a ton of employees and stuff, and it's crazy. So thank you to Talkin Yanks. That's where it all started. You know, and hey, this year going to Billy's and stuff was funny with fucking Joe's, and it'd be funny. People would come up that wouldn't know me, and they'd say, "Hey, John Boy, can I get a pick?" And I'd be like, "Hell yeah, let's get a pick." And then it'd be funny because I'd have guys come up, and they'd be like, "What do you think about Trevino?" And we'd be in fucking Billy's deep diving into Trevino's pitch mix and shit. And that's what makes Yankee fandom and all of it so perfect. So, John, as always, BBD. And everyone at fucking John Boy Media, because even if you're doing Talkin Yanks stuff or you're doing anything, you're attached to Talkin Yanks like you just are. So thank you guys, and get them next year, right?
Next year's going to be wild. I think it's going to be a wild, wild offseason. In the next week, we'll know what direction it's going. Because first thing you got to do is, who's the GM?
Cashman's contract is up.
Yeah, right now the Yankees don't have a GM. So, and that has to happen quick if you want to try and re-sign Judge. If you want to try and re-sign the people, as I'm quick. I'm guessing they're going to keep Cashman around and re-up him if that's what he wants, and that's what everyone wants.
If he wants it, it's his job.
But I mean, that has to officially happen quick before you can get started and everything else. So yeah, like Jake said, thank you everyone.
You know the scene in Batman when they go to the police station and they're saying we're trying to catch the Batman.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, it's all fake candidates because they don't want to catch Batman because he's a good guy. Early candidates for GM, Jeter and Joe's McFly.
Okay.
That's who I've got.
Good combo. All right. Thank you guys. Love you. We'll see ya. We'll be back probably like next week.
Yeah.
Whenever that presser happens.
Never ends. Go Yanks. 2023. Here we come. Oh, shit. Go Phils. See